last time we got as far as, I think, the end of this sentence, which was basically that after the whole boat contest failed, Seth converted his form into a hippopotamus, as one does, and proceeded to attack, or rather to try to make sink the boat of Horus. And I very confidently said that Baga or Bagai does not exist in Coptic, making the fallacy of I haven't seen it, so it isn't there. And luckily Ralph corrected me. It does very well exist. Well, an interesting exercise that you can do, oopsie. If you know the shape in late Egyptian, it's a B, it's a G, and then something, vowelly at the end. How should that come out in Coptic? Now, B normally stays a B, can sometimes become an M. However, when it's followed by a pa, that's really a strong indication that this is a stop. It's a B sound. And so that should stay. This here normally becomes a k or ksh in Coptic, or at least very often does. So it gets like a little bit of a palatalization to it. So you would expect something like b, j, and that's exactly what you get. You get BG or Vikche in Bohairic and Lacopolitan, respectively, and it means to be wrecked of a ship, to suffer shipwreck. So it's perfect. Thanks so much for pointing this one out. And yeah, I think that's how far we got. So basically, Horus's boat is being attacked, and I would say let's take it from the next sentence. Any volunteers?
I guess it's my turn.
All right, so
Let's
yes, it
see.
is.
Okay, so winning hair chai. That's the copper word. I can't remember what that is.
Deben.
Hi,
Is
Deben
it
is the weight unit. How you measure copper.
It's hemti.
That's right. I think
Hemtief.
it's homint in Coptic, if I'm not mistaken. It gets an extra N in Sahidic so often. Yeah, Hemti is right.
Right. Okay. F. EUF. Who, I think? Who to F?
Who or hui, yeah. It's a weak verb.
Hui. Yeah. Huit. Huitef setach. Okay. So then, winning, Horus, we've had these words before. This is the harpoon thing that they were doing when they were hippos before.
Right, but what's the verb?
So he throws his copper. Right. So this is some kind of action verb. Ciao.
Yeah, is it throw though?
Is it verbal?
Yeah, it doesn't mean to take or to steal or something.
I would say take. Let's
Oh,
check.
take. Okay.
I think that's what it is. Shy.
I think I would say grasp.
Grasp,
something like that. Yeah.
So take, grasp, all of those make sense. Okay. What does it become in Coptic? Is it chi or something? I think. Receive. In any case.
Okay. So he takes his copper, which is referring probably to a harpoon, and EUF, circumstantially, he threw it into the body of Seth.
Right. Well, the majesty of Seth, if we want to accord him that. I've never understood why.
The incarnation of Seth.
Right. I was about to go there. I'm not sure why Alan picked that. I've never read up on it, why he changed Remef to his incarnation. Well, yeah. Interesting. Huituf takes a direct object, namely the copper. So he's in English, I guess we would have to say he strikes him with it, because we can't say he strikes it against him. Sounds kind of weird. I also wonder if this here means throw or more like strike. Normally, hui is to beat somebody. So I imagine this more like beating than, or like,
It's
basically.
got double stick men, but if it's a harpoon, maybe that's why we say strike, because like it's arranged. It's a thing you throw.
Something like this. or somebody who I think maybe in the server made this really pretty one, this one. Yeah, something like that. I
Yes,
guess we have to
that was
imagine.
amazing.
All right. Yeah, well done. I think we have it for this one. Want to go on for one more?
I can try. So winning. So then, so changing the subject. The Dapesajet, the Ennead, Herojedinaf said to him, Imir
Hmm?
2F? Do not know that word. Or
Empe-
F. So they said to him, do something to him.
Bird in Coptic.
Imper. Oh, don't.
That's right.
Right. Sorry. Took me a while.
That's
Don't
fine.
don't hit him.
Right, exactly. It sounds like 5-year-olds again.
Stop.
Don't hit him with
You're not
that.
allowed to kill the other guy. It's a contest.
Right. Who started it? Let's discuss. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Right.
Grammatically, I think they're both pretty straightforward. Don't strike it against him, literally, right? So don't hit him with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions on these two?
Would expect him.
If
And
not, I would say let's take a quick look at the hieratic. When in
yeah, we've got the weird thing that doesn't even have a hieroglyph.
Yeah, let's see what that actually looks like in hieratic when we get there. Chai, 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 chai. Wait. Now I'm mildly confused. Where's the finger? I guess it's there. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be there. I mean, there is like a little something on this D, but without further information, I would have assumed it's just a somewhat elongated D. That is interesting. Is that real or are we making it up? Hang on.
I definitely copied that from Gardner, but let's see if Ramses has it as well, because he might be wrong.
Ramses has it as well.
Ramses has
So
what?
maybe we need to look at Gardner and see if there's a note or something.
No, there's no note.
That's
He just
interesting.
has
Okay.
it. I don't know. He sees it somehow.
There was a vision. I'll leave it at that. I mean, what we could do is we could look for other occurrences of that verb in the text. It's fairly common, chai. Wouldn't surprise me if it's somewhere in there, somewhere else. Just don't know how to find it quickly. Oh, I do know how to find it quickly. Hang on. If I can find Ellie quickly. Ellie, where are you? There we go. And we're looking for, first of all, what does he have? He has a 2. Then we need it in Horus and Seth. I love searchable PDFs. It's just so much easier. 2 brothers, we don't want that. Wintermoon, don't want that either. Still Wintermoon. Am I going in the wrong direction? Here's Horus and Seth. There we go. Chai, where are you? Oh, that's Thai. Okay, yeah. Didn't think of that. They look the same, of course. There's one. 6, 9. Different chai though. That's the masculine one. 5, 2. Here's one. 5, 2. Right at the beginning of 5, 2. Let's use the boat. 5-2. Ah, look at that. So this is what he's expecting, like a little loopy bird on the stick like. And that's it. So let's see if that's there.
So maybe he's calling that little lump at the serif at the top,
I think so.
the finger.
I mean, yeah, there is something here, huh? With a lot of goodwill, you can see something. Okay, all right.
Might be a separate stroke. Yeah.
It could be.
Okay.
Passed. I think we'll accept it. Okay. Then comes our copper and the big determinative stroke. Copper doesn't look anything like what you would expect, but I think we had looked at that before. Then
Yep.
this is the little circle here, and then hard to see, but these are the three plural strokes. 1, 2, and there's like a hint of a third one here. It's his copper that gets the suffix pronoun. F or UF, hui. Hui often just spelled like this with a striking man, and then whatever this thing is that looks very much like an M, but is this weird glyph that is used in this word. What else? TWF, hard to read just because of the degradation of the papyrus. I don't think we've looked at hum before.
No. Well, not recently anyway.
Not that I can remember. We need a glyph number. What is this thing? Baseball bat is, I think, what we decided it is. U36. There we go. Ein Waschholz. Okay. So a baseball bat for washing clothes. Interesting. Didn't know that. So it can have a club head in earlier days. It can have a little side stroke as well. It can lose the side stroke. Now we're coming to the end of the 18th. Well, not yet the end, but now we're coming to the end of the 18th. Essentially like a little club with a dot. And the dot goes away. Fascinating. It has all sorts of shapes. So you should expect some kind of loop for most of them. Okay, let's see what we got. I mean, really hard to say. Maybe there is a loop here. Maybe it comes again and we can see it someplace else. What's going on here? Determinative stroke, bird on a stick, a large N. That all makes sense. Sutech only recognizable from context. Bird on a stick. Wenin. Let's see if there's anything else that's surprising. Ta, pestjet, enchure, or basically plural of gods, plural strokes, jet, naf, ir, don't do strike, don't do strike him, or it towards him. Okay, very good. I think there were no more surprises in there. All right, who wants the next one?
I'll go.
All right.
All right, so we have Wenenef, Her, Ini,
Mhm,
Na, Chau, or Cha, Ni, Pamu,
mhm,
Uf, Wa, U,
mhm.
Payeth, and Payeth. Oh,
Could be
my
aha.
go-to word for boat is depit, but this is Iwa. Is it Iwa? And what that's sacred part?
I think it's aha here because it's spelled out in one
Yes.
place.
Earlier, you're right. It was Aha.
Mhm.
Aha F. Not Aha F. Aha UF.
That's right. I think it ends here, paif aha, and then, yeah, uf or f. Mhm.
Then we have Ched.
That's right. Whoops.
Sa,
Mhm.
Sa'i. Oh, Erjed Net Saheru, where?
Almost. This one is a divine name, so the Horus belongs to the name.
Oh, okay. So net.
Mhm.
Net. So the egg is the term determinative also?
Yeah, it is. How do we pronounce it in English? Is it Neath
Oh,
or
neat.
Neat? I think it's Neath, right?
Neath is what I've always said, but
That's what I've always said as well. Okay, all right. So Neath.
Neat where nature mut. Ah, okay, makes sense. Neat where nature mut.
Oh yeah.
Going?
Yeah, let's go until the red one, until the RNT.
Okay. So we have emu or emi,
Mm-hmm.
jed. No, not jed. Ja.
Uja, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ja, yeah, uja, uja. Tu, hena. Oh wait, no, the man with the stick is part of the word wuja, right?
It's part of the Uja. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And we have tu, hena, sitesh, neti.
That's right. Let's stop here. Because then comes the next sentence. Aneti is another like what does Nebo call the markers of initiality, like erjet, to say that, namely, and neti I think is something similar. Basically, there's going to be another sentence coming after it. Okay, cool. So that was a long one. What do you make out of it?
All right, so then he, not then he, yeah, then he brought,
Mhm.
or I guess fetched, na chau, those something of the water or to the water.
Oh, is equipment. Often it can mean arms, like weapons, but not necessarily. It can also be, I've seen it in two texts where it was just referring to more general metal equipment for, I don't know, stoneworking or something. So yeah, some kind of equipment of the water. I'm assuming it's not it's not diving gear.
And let's see, so the water, and he.
Hmm.
Now I know this word to mean endure, but I don't think it means that here, probably, right?
I would say put, place.
Oh wow. And he put them in his boat.
Hmm.
And he had that. I know it means to sail. I know, well, yeah, sail northward. Was that the word?
I
Sail,
think so too. Yeah. So
sail
go
that's the one,
northward
yeah.
downstream, I guess. Go downstream. Yeah.
to Sai. I don't know this place. Sai.
Which I think is size, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look it up. Sai. Still Sai in Coptic. And the reason why that came to mind is because that's the city of Neath, basically. Attested as early as First Dynasty of Egypt, like one of the really old uh,
Sai.
cult centers in Egypt. But, although I don't think there's much left. All right, back to that. So that's size.
Sai. And
Okay.
I'm going to translate this literally, but I know it's probably wrong. But the great neat. Wait, no, I wouldn't say with respect to saying, but
Mhm.
with respect to saying. But what's the nuance? What's the
This one here or
no, the erjed, like saying it instead of being literal,
oh yeah,
like instead of saying with respect to saying, like what's the semantic meaning here? How does it flow?
okay. I mean, I take suggestions. The way I had read it was just to neat. I thought there's a double N here. Let's see if Ramses sees it the same way, because often when you have like two N's, one is not spelled out. Let's
Isn't it beginning a quote or something?
Can also be the beginning of a quote. To say. and then like oh need blah blah blah. It could be the beginning of a direct quotation. That's right. I honestly don't know which of the two it is in this context, or if it matters.
Ramses has a deleted N there, so they agree with you.
Okay, yeah, that just happens very often. That you don't see an N when it's in front of another N, so to say. Oops, can't find it. Okay, but you said it has a double N, so let's just go with that. Back to our text. So to say to Neith, then comes the title of Neith.
So it was saying to Neith, the great mother goddess.
I think that's right, yeah.
Well, what was the great, so I'm saying to Neith, the great goddess mother. Okay. So we have an imperative here. So don't. Wait, no.
Close.
Oh,
This
come.
one's
This is come, isn't it?
this is the imperative of FG.
Oh, give. The imperative of give.
Mhm.
Yes. And see, wuja. I know it means judgment. It can mean judge, right? But
That's right.
or
Uja is to judge. Still, I had to look this up. It lives on as wote with a omega in Coptic. So it's still w is still there. The j becomes depalatized to d. Palatized, palatized, I think. Wote, to judge. No, not to judge, to separate or something of that nature. It's still around.
concern or I'm thinking of the word jajat. I think they have some relation. Anyway, that's the wrong word.
Okay.
I know the word jajat can mean to judge, or it can mean also to behead, to take the head off or something.
Oh, okay. Wonder if those are related. Possible. Where's my little annotation tool? Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So far doing great. Let's finish it up. Ima.
So here it means what again? Give or
Yeah,
permit.
exactly. That's where I wanted to get. So if this lets me. Oh, this is annoying. Can't do it for some reason. Okay. Yeah. Give what? Give that. Uja.
With the Satesh. Do I'm still not quite clear on how am I translating wuja here. So it's saying that it's because I said judge the first time, but I don't.
I would do it that way.
Well, is the two at the end making it passive, maybe?
Right. And something is probably missing. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
File the judgment.
So make it that be separated together with Seth.
Right.
Something like that.
I think so. There's just something's missing here because you couldn't have the two directly before Chena. That doesn't make sense. Make it that one separate or that one judge with Seth. The verb doesn't take the preposition. So there's probably something that should be in between those two. And my annotation tool is on strike, so unfortunately I can't add anything. What does very often get left out from the earliest days onwards, or at least from Middle Egyptian onwards? I don't know about before.
Whatever preposition.
There's one personal pronoun that always gets left off.
Huh?
It wouldn't be F, would it? Do we F?
No, that one's normally there. I'll just give the answer. First singular, because it's vocalic. That one falls out. I mean, it doesn't fall out, but it's just not written very often. So you very often have like sajamna for sajamnai. I heard because yeah, it's just a vowel at the end. So basically, I think this should be ujatu I. Pretty sure that's what it is. Let's see if Ramses agrees. Bear with me.
It's page 105.
105? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
There we go.
At the bottom.
So he went to the great
Yep.
goddess, mother god. Oh, here they actually translated as mother of the god. Mutnacher. Interesting. Emi Ujatui. Yeah, they have the same idea that there has to be a missing suffix pronoun. Make that I be separated or judged, I guess, separated from Seth, judged together with Seth, however you want to bring that into English. Yeah, well done. Any questions about this one? Let's continue where we got interrupted by the broken recording last time, which I believe was around here, end of page 13, line 11. And I just asked if somebody wanted to take the sentence honestly for as long as you want to go, because we've had it. Maybe, but whatever you feel comfortable with. I think let's start at when in, etc., if that's all right. I've had on occasion.
Well, I can read the first one, but I haven't.
Go for it.
So it's when in here in the end na how and
Wow.
pamu.
Mhm.
So and then upon bringing the weapon of the water.
Right. It's water equipment, water weapons. I mean, this is like general equipment. Could be weapons. Could also be other gear. His water gear, if you wanted to say it in English. But from the preceding part, it's probably pretty safe to say these are weapons. Yes. Want to go on?
Yeah, EUF, and then it's I don't know the next one. It's
should be Wahoo.
Wahoo, PIF. Yeah, ship. I don't remember.
No worries. Could be multiple things, but it was spelled out as Ache before. So I'll just go with it. It's still Ache for both.
Okay. So and that would be he received his boat. I'm just guessing the word here.
All right. So wach is to place, to put. And it's really only wach if there's like a U and plural strokes at the end of it. Any guess what's going on here grammatically? After UF.
It was stated, yeah, UF and then wahoo is probably all perfective for as a predicate for the I think first present here.
You're right. The whole thing is a first present. That's right. Which would make wach a what kind of verb form?
Old perfective, or as you call it, stative, I think.
It could be not a bad idea. So first presence could have the stative, or it could have a stative only would. What else could it have apart from these three?
I think in the Francois Nouveau book, it says pseudo participle. I'm not sure about this.
I'll give you the answer. Infinitive could be the other one. So you could have UF segem, I hear, which would be segem would be the infinitive, or it could be a stative. Now, the nice thing about the infinitive is it can take a direct object, like, for example, UE Sedgmef, I am upon hearing him. So I hear him, basically, as I am upon hearing him, because it's a circumstantial, right? So, yeah.
But I think it should be introduced by preposition if it's going to be infinitive.
It should be introduced by what?
It should be introduced by preposition or something. I think maybe it could be dropped, but I think it would be an old perfective because it's wahoo, which is I don't know. I'm guessing.
You're entirely correct, but this document leaves off the prepositions all the time, which we talked about at the beginning last year. But
oh, okay.
I think that
if
might
we
be...
go to if we went to Ramses Online, I bet they would have a her in parentheses.
Yeah, they have a her in
They do?
brackets.
Do
Let's have
they? Okay, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, just for
Oh, makes sense.
for our viewers on YouTube, which we have one. We do. I mean, we do have quite a few actually, which is cool. This has been running for now well over a year, right? This class, I think.
At least.
And there are some people
Oh,
that
well
follow us.
over.
Yeah,
I'd say almost 2.
it could be, huh? It took us a while.
Maybe. Yeah, it's been a long old time.
But there are people watching, so shout out to all of you, and let's see what we have here. You have heard.
It could be Christian Casey, our illustrious leader, who's listening. Just checking up.
Could be. And
Frightening thought.
And he's doing it for multiple accounts too. Sneaky. I chat with him once in a while, by the way. I think he's doing well. His book is out for those of you who've not seen it, but I think most have seen it. The Satire of the Trades, which is where I don't have it yet, but from what I've seen online, it looks great. All right. So yeah, here we go. You have Hieratic. It is indeed the infinitive in this case, according to Ramses, which makes sense. Just because the stative ending plural, you see it rarely now. It's not as like a Middle Egyptian where you see it way more frequently. If it were the stative, quite often it wouldn't have any ending at all. And yeah, that's as much as I can say about it. So I would take this as an infinitive with a direct object. And so back to Jonathan, how would you then translate it? Remembering that this word is to place or to put.
And he placed it in his boat.
Correct. He placed them, the gear,
Them,
the
okay.
equipment. Yeah, he placed them in his boat. That's right. So in more traditional, it would be UF Herde Wahu M5 Ache. But like Ralph said, the Herde. Sometimes he does it though, and I wish I knew why. Like for example, here is a Herde, and he does it like I would say 1 out of 5 times. He writes the Herde. Who knows? Okay, cool. Great job. Anybody want to go on from here with the next UF?
I'll go.
Perfect.
UF خد صاي إرجد نت ورت موت نتر إمي عاش no I don't remember.
It starts from here. It's actually it's spelled phonetically.
Oh, جاع.
Uja, yeah.
وجاع. Oh, yeah. Makes sense. To حنا ستخ ernity, and then yeah, of course numbers and then end them, but erta un. Did I?
Wait, do we want to? I would maybe stop here at a tie because the sentence goes on for another 3 lines or something. So, okay, good job. What do you make out of it?
And then he probably sailed north to Sai. This is a place. I don't remember. And then Erjed saying to Nut, I guess.
Neat.
The great,
Neat.
the mother, yeah, the mother of God. Let let. And then what is wija? Wija?
To judge or to separate. Lives on the topic is
yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
So we were saying let them probably judge, or let someone judge on setach.
Close. With setach, that's right. The two here.
With setach?
Yeah, the word setach is correct. I'm still thinking about the let's part or give. So yeah, you had correct. Emi, give ujatu. Ujatu. That's actually a tricky one. I'm not sure to what degree we discussed it the last time. Normally after give, you have a subjunctive. So give
Mhm.
that somebody do something, or may do something. So give that ujatu.
I think it
Khinasute.
also can be translated as let someone judge on.
Right, right.
Seth.
I think that's correct. You're right. I mean, from context, it's clear that it means let that I be judged together with Suter, right? That's what it has to mean from the logic.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering what's actually going on grammatically here. Why is this ujatu? Is that an old? No. Anybody have any ideas?
Just
What that is?
passive.
It looks like a passive, right?
Cause to be judged.
I mean, I agree with you. You would want to think that this is like Ujatu E or something, right? Like good old.
Yeah, it is definitely missing the E, but you know, in terms of the two ending, I think it's just cause one to judge or cause to be judged.
Right. I mean, that's how I want to read it. It's just, is that still a thing at this time? So you're basically saying,
I feel like we've seen that in this text.
okay, do you remember where? It could entirely be. This is what you're proposing, right?
Mhm.
Imi Ujatu I Khena, oops, come on, be nice. Khena Sitech.
Yeah.
This here basically. And that would make
Mhm.
this here a subjunctive, passive. Huh. Okay. You know what? I'll get a second opinion. It could be. I'm just surprised. That feels so classic to me. Not. Let's see what Ramses thinks. Ba, 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 ba.
I mean, Nuva does say that you can just not write it.
Oh, that I believe. I didn't know if you
Okay.
could still glue it to the two. But
Oh, okay, with the two.
like you said, Aaron, that's exactly what Ramses thinks too. Emi ujatui renasute. Very cool. So you can still do that. I didn't know that. I thought you could say ujatu, but then honestly, I would have put like a dependent pronoun. I would have thought, but you can still do the good old passive thing. Okay, very cool. Let's go back to our text. I think the rest was clear, right? So we had, you had translated it as, and he traveled northwards to Sais, the city of Sais, old city of Neith, the goddess Neith, where her temple, I mean, her main temple is located. So to say to Neith, this should probably be N Neith, but since it's a double N, only the second one or the first one, well, who knows? Only one of the two gets spelled out. In reality, it should be Jot and Neith. Where it, the great Neith, mother of the god, like you said, give that I may be judged together with Sutech. And then yeah, you had it up to here. So at enti whatever is 80, Chemne or something, Chemniu and Rempet Ertai. Any idea what to make out of that?
I think what is called third future.
Interesting
But
idea.
but I can't see the use, so I'm not sure if it's a third future. But it gives the meaning of the future.
Maybe, huh? I mean, could be a future, that is true. What do you make out of the rest, though? Chemne and Rempet and Tai.
Indirect genitive. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Okay. So what you do in late Egyptian, you often put the number and then you put n, and then you add the word to it. So you may be more used to seeing Rempet Chemne for a number, but it's actually quite frequent in late Egyptian text to see it this way, with a number first and then a genitive.
I think Coptic does that too, like a number
Yes.
of ships, two of, yeah.
It does. And
And
there is an argument to be made that in Middle Egyptian, whenever you see those numbers following after the noun, Was that just an abbreviated way of writing it? And they still pronounce it the same way like they do in Late Egyptian or Coptic? Or was that, are there really two ways how to say the numbers? Both are possible. Like, for example, in Japanese, you have two ways how to use classifiers or not. I try to remember how that works, but there's some trickiness there too. So it's conceivable there were two different ways how to create number constructions. In any case, it is it's 80 years, Khamenei in Rempet, Ertai, until this point, or basically up to now. So 80 years up to now. And then I shouldn't have cut you short here because actually it makes more sense if you add the last little piece to it. But the NT is basically that. It's similar to Erchet. It's like a conjunction. So the whole thing becomes to say to Neith, the great goddess, mother of the god, give that we be judged, or that I be judged together with Sutech, that, in other words, namely, or you could say because, I guess, because it's 80 years until now, and then whatever comes after. Want to continue, or does somebody else want to take that part? Either is fine.
I could take it if nobody wants to.
You got it. So let's go
Okay.
maybe until here. Mhm.
Okay. So it's 80 and Rembet Irtai Yusen Ta Pimbet.
That's right. You got it. And here comes another quirk from Middle Egyptian, from Late Egyptian. This is probably only one N. UNM Kinbet. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, any idea on what it could mean?
I think it's mean and 20 years and them being in courtroom. I'm not sure.
That's exactly what it is. It's not them though. It's N.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So imagine this is Horus speaking, I believe. Yeah, it's Horus speaking. So he's basically talking about himself and Seth. So he's saying that 80 years, it's 80 years until now, you and Mkembit, that we are in the court, that we are, or literally us being in the court. He uses a circumstantial, but I think in English it would be more natural to make it, basically in English you'd say it's been 80 years until now that we have been in the court. So this has been going on for a while, the whole story. And actually now we're getting the backstory that when the beginning of the papyrus threw us right into the middle of things, we were really not told about. They start the whole contendings with, okay, they're in court, they're trying to fight it out, the gods can't make a decision, but we don't really know what happened before. Well, that's what's going to come on the next page. Before we go there, maybe a quick look at the so well done. Quick look at the hieratic. If there's anything important in there that we haven't covered yet. When inef kere ine na how. All this should be pretty familiar by now. Little plural strokes squished in here. Hang on, let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit. No, I cannot. That's annoying. Hang on. That's better. So where were we? Ha-u. So you can see the ein, you can see the W, you can see the abbreviated form of the het, which is completely which is completely normal. Het, which is completely normal. Plural strokes, en, pa, Mau or Mu, F or UF, sorry, I always talk Coptic in there. This here I would have read as boat if we didn't know that it is Wach. It has like a little extra dot on top that really distinguishes it from the boat shape. But it's hard to see because the scan's a little bit grainy, as nice as it is. So Wach, the secondary form of the book roll, Y1, abbreviated, looking almost like a Z, but very common, especially under other signs, if there's something on top, but here it's standing by itself. Long W here with the plural strokes on top for the suffix pronoun. Pa, pai, paif, so paif ache. Chuck, 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 that's the boat. Uf, ched, so again the boat going north. Erisai, so the whatever kind of goose that is very strongly abbreviated, but that's normal. The way you can tell it apart from the pi is it doesn't have extra wings. It doesn't have the little wings at the back. Pi. The city here is unusual. We pointed out the last time it should have some little strokes in there to distinguish it from other glyphs. It doesn't in this case, but then again, you know that's the city, especially since it is for neat, which is coming up in a moment. Erjo or Erjet, neat, or probably N neat, but the first N is missing. Where should really be wedded, but as we know, they don't spell the feminine ending anymore because it's not being said anymore. Or sometimes they spell it where it doesn't belong, just because a word ends in a vowel. Mut Nacher, the mother of the god. Nothing much to say here. The Mu is a little bit squished, but good enough. T, the egg, and then here comes the cobra, which Describe always does beautifully because he seems to really love this sign. Imi, give, that's a very common ligature for the ma and the M and then the MR. So that's a nice one. As you go on in Ramesside, hieratic, glyphs like these become, combos like these become more and more elaborate. They were really beautiful with their big loops. Let's see, Uja. This thing here, which I lovingly call a pizza cutter, that's this here. Looks a little bit like it. Then this is weird. That's our book roll again, and our man with a stick. Almost looks like these two things belong together. They don't. It's just a stick reaching over on top of the Y1.
Almost looks like the man is sitting there instead of standing, like his legs just kind of got ligatured out of it.
Yeah, he definitely is, huh? There's like a little, I mean, honestly, the way I would normally write this would be like this. Let's see if it cooperates like that with the stick in there. Oh, wait, I missed the arm, sorry.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Maybe they ligatured his legs into the book roll that precedes that sign so that it's written in almost one stroke.
Would be, but unlikely, honestly. You know why? Because this would have been written first. So you start over here, and then I think
they'd start from the top.
It may be the arm. That's actually an interesting question because I've always wondered when you write this thing, do you write this first, and then the arm, and then the stick, or do you start here? This almost makes me think like they may have started here, like tick, tick, and then do this to finish it off, which certainly would be more convenient from like a ergonomics flow, you know? But I'm not certain. I've been trying to figure this out for a while, and I really don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if the broader strokes are emphasize they're turning the brush, right? So the thinner strokes could be a flourish where it's at the end of the stroke, like on the there's, let's see, earlier you have that sign with the long serif on the end. Before the reed leaf, I think it's a cobra.
Yeah.
So like that would be a flourish on the end after finishing the stroke, right? Because you kind of let the ink trail off. They wouldn't have started with that then.
No, you wouldn't. No, definitely not. The way you do the cobra, let's see if I can. And guys, forgive me for the bunny ride.
Sorry, calligraphy stuff.
There is, we have something, wait, I'm looking for a pen that has a bit more, does this work? No. I need something with a blade to it. And this tool doesn't quite seem to have it. No, it doesn't. Oh, that's annoying. I can't really do it with a thin pen, unfortunately. Smart pen, highlighter, vanishing pen. No, none of those. They don't have it here. Basically, what you have to imagine is imagine your pen looks like this, like that little box I just drew here, and you drag that across the page. So for example, when you have a thick line like this, imagine this here really was positioned more or less like that. It's not completely true. It would be positioned at a slight angle. And you can see that angle here. So it's like at a 40-degree angle or so, and you drag it across the page, and that gives you the broad lines. And then when you go vertically down, then you're using the sharp edge of the pen, basically the thin area. And that gives you those very thin lines. That's why you have those very thin diagonals and the very broad horizontals, and verticals and horizontals. You can also see that here in the shape. It's imitating, it's reflecting the shape of the writing instrument. If you do that with a broad pen, you get that automatically. That's why, for example, unless your marker has such a, oh yeah, thank you. Can you drag that over the page, Ralph?
I thought you could, but it's not working, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. The good old paint and
Yeah, it used to work, but it says they've upgraded it, so.
Downgraded it.
As
Sorry.
usual. But yeah, just experiment with it sometime. If you do that, basically, if you have a pen that's maybe say like 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters broad, so much broader than a normal fine ink fountain pen, and you basically follow that sequence of strokes, you get this shape automatically. You cannot but. And so to your point, you wouldn't start with this. This is indeed like this is finishing the line.
Right, but they could start with a thin stroke on the top if the brush was at the right angle.
You could, exactly.
Okay.
So you can't tell if this is a flourish going up or if this is coming down. And
Okay.
you maybe could, if you make an assumption that they normally were not going upwards, but I'm not sure if that's absolutely true. I'm kind of inclined to think it's going down, but I haven't been able to prove it yet.
I guess
I
like the
don't know,
top.
then I could try it at home.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best way to learn hieratic in my mind is write it, and a lot of things will become clear. Generally speaking, it's top to bottom, left to right, just like Chinese.
Right.
That works very well because then you get a lot of the natural shapes the same way. Like when you see those little descenders here, that tells you that they were going from left to right, even though the script is going from right to left. And a lot of people get that wrong. It annoys me every time when I read it in the literature. Oh, they wrote from right to left. No. The signs, the sequence of signs is right to left. The strokes went from left to right. You can see that so clearly. So I'm not sure why everybody says otherwise.
I wonder if that gave them an extra amount of control over crafting each sign, because that seems like it's counterintuitive to writing quickly. But no.
Quick question.
Sure.
Quick question, because I've come in so late to this. I just assumed they were doing this with like a pen, but are you saying they're painting it?
No, it's done with a pen. Actually, there's two different types. There's the reed pen and the rush pen. I think the rush pen is the older one. Reed is like a kalamos in Greek, or like a kalam in modern Arabic calligraphy. What that looks like.
I actually have one at home.
Oh.
I practiced calligraphy, Arabic, and actually I practiced Hieratic in college too.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks like that. It's a felt pen, I think.
Right. And so Egyptian rush pen, reed pen, let's start there.
So actually it's very similar to a quill in terms of a bird feather, because that's what a bird feather looks like as well, if you write with quill.
You're absolutely right. Exactly.
Yeah, they cut it at an angle so that the ink can go out a certain pattern.
And that's one difference. The Egyptian one is flat. The modern Arabic kalam has an angle to it. So I bought a couple and thought, oh, I'm just going to use them. but Ralph knows that I just couldn't get myself to cut it. And with the angle that the Arabic kalam has, it just doesn't look right again. Or you have to hold your hand at a super awkward angle. So the only way to use them would be to really cut it at a right angle, which you can do. I mean, a skilled calligrapher, they will cut their own kalam, basically with something like a pocket knife. I've seen it.
And it actually needs a certain type of paper, so.
As well, you're right. So it's a bit of fine tuning there.
Cool.
But it's cool. So it's definitely, if you read in the literature, it was done with a brush or with something that they chewed on and they made a brush out of that. That is complete rubbish, and it gets repeated again and again and again, and it freaks me out because you can never get this shape with a brush. I tried it, and I've seen like half a dozen other people who've also tried it over the years, and everybody comes back and says this doesn't work. What may have worked is when you need like a very fine tip for like painting, actual painting, like when you write cursive hieroglyphs in a say, for example, in funerary documents, then it makes sense to have like really something like a brush, because you have those very fine, like sometimes the strokes on something like Ujjayi eye, for example, it would have like very fine strokes, almost like eyelashes. There you need something finer. You probably can't do that with a pen like this. But for ordinary writing, I'm absolutely sure they didn't use anything that was chewed on. This was solid. Otherwise, you don't get the shape. And my 5 cents. What do I know? Sorry, guys. Big money, right?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
I took the invitation. What can I say? Fena, not too surprising. I mean, it's kind of squished, but huge H with a dot, N and ein. Sutech. This time it's a sitting form, not the reclining form. Bird on a stick. Enti, which is a conjunction, like we said. The number 80, we covered numbers the last time. So the way that 80 was done, it's like a big key, basically, like stroke, stroke, stroke. But then there's one extra stroke to make 4. And then there's a long stroke for the other 4, basically. So it's 2 times 2 times 40, but spelled differently. And that gives you the Khamnei. And Rempet, huge determinative stroke. El Tai, you have to know that this is a T with a aleph bird underneath, which just looks like a book roll or like a Z shape again. It's a common ligature. UN, M, Ta, and Kembet we talked about earlier. I'm not going to go over this one, but it's very different from what you would expect. They're really drawing the outlines of the Kembet sign. There's a T here somewhere with a lot of goodwill. You can see it. I can't, but I can see the long falling stroke afterwards and the A1 man with plural strokes underneath. So that's what it is. All right, and we made it onto page 14. Then I would say let's continue because, oh, wait, we did this already, right? Sorry about that. But yeah, anybody want to do the recap of this one? Maybe until, maybe let's start until here. Whom have I not heard from yet today?
I could try if no one else is going for it.
Go for it.
Okay. So Khair Ben, Tutu Arech, and then you, then Weja, we just had this, Weja, and Enu, Enuchen.
I think it's Uja N, yeah.
Uja N, and then Khair Enu for being plural, or?
Hang on, you are here, right? Let me write it down. I should probably always do that.
No problem. Yeah, Khair Ben Tutu Khair Rech and Uda. Oh, I see. Uda and then N. Okay. So the
Like
that's just
it's the plural pronouns, so there's plural strokes, but we don't think they were pronounced differently.
got it. Thank
Correct,
you.
correct.
And the N is just part of the determinative for the pronoun.
Yeah,
There's
they
a double N.
write a double N for no obvious reasons in Late Egyptian.
Okay, cool. So you're just writing one. Makes sense. So then boo, di, with the T being silent, di, then
Right.
ma'a. That's shoe, or that's the determinative for truth for ma'a. So the
That's right.
ma'af,
That's right.
and then ma'af with a the B at the end, or
yeah, what about this?
dot F.
Mhm.
Ma'af, and then hair ka and zep or sep.
Yeah, that's right. And the error has something added behind it.
Oh, air ha.
What do you
No,
make?
sorry, eri.
You
Right?
got it. Mhm.
Thank
That's
you.
right. And now you guys see why I don't
then-
like to type it out, because unfortunately, you go into that situation where the text runs one direction and our transcription runs the other.
Oh yeah,
Super annoying. Hang on. Give me a quick moment to like sort
no
of line
problem.
them up. So this is this,
Yeah,
and then you had
left to right versus right to left.
you had it right though. You said ha, I think. And
Yeah, ha for that
Mhm.
staff
And
thing. Zep or sep. Yep,
let's stop here maybe.
that sounds good. Okay, sep, and then air pi,
That's right.
air pi,
You
and
got it.
then that's it. Pi.
We'll stop here. Yeah. Pi.
Okay, great. Okay, good.
So
Okay.
now try to read it somehow. If this
Yeah,
doesn't
no
mess with
problem.
your brain, that it goes backwards.
I'm
then-
still, no offense, I'm still looking at the hieratic or the hieroglyphs.
That's
so,
fine. Mhm.
Yeah. Hair boo. So boo is or Ben is not, right? So I always forget what hair is. It's like
Can be a few-
there's what is it?
No, you were going to say, sorry.
Oh, I was saying I always forget what hair is at the beginning of this. It's like there is not is what I was guessing with Ben, but I'm not sure.
So how can
Um,
it be?
Upon.
Upon.
Could be.
Okay.
It could be the preposition with at. It can be the conjunction and or while.
Okay.
And they may be related. I mean, would be kind of logical, right?
Okay.
It can also be, just to throw it in there, but that's not what it is here. It can be the marker for the aorist before
Okay.
a verb, but that's not really common yet in Late Egyptian. It becomes really common in Demotic and then later in Coptic.
Okay.
But yeah, you can ignore that. Let's say it's a
So
conjunction.
it's kind of like an introductory conjunction here, like
Correct.
then or while or something.
Right.
Just like
While-
that in Greek, like and.
I would
Okay.
just really make it and, because most of the time that fits. So if you don't know what
That
the
sounds
sentence
good.
means yet, you're not making a mistake by saying and.
Okay, that's what I do with det in Greek. It's just like and or okay. Or you just okay. So and not and sorry. And there it's you all right, tutu? Or
What's tutu?
the pronoun, right? So
It's a pronoun, and I should have maybe done this differently. It's really like 2.2.
right.
So
Both?
not quite. Good
sorry.
guess. But what's the subject pronoun for I? Like I am upon hearing, for example.
Tui.
That's right. What is you, masculine?
That's tuk.
You got it. So then the two is basically how those pronouns are formed. So this is 2.2. In
So
Middle
they?
Egypt, very
Oh,
close.
sorry, go ahead.
No, in Middle
Okay.
Egyptian, what's two? Like at the end of a verb.
Remember it's I'm sorry, I'm blank. It's not a pronoun Middle Egyptian. It's a
So that could be my problem. I like to think of it as like one, like the impersonal pronoun, basically. One
okay.
does, and that's exactly what it is. So tutu is the impersonal form, of the subject
Okay, and it
pronoun.
becomes a pronoun in late Egyptian.
You can
But
think
it
about
starts
that.
out as sort of an indefinite.
It's an indefinite. You got it exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this one.
Don't worry about it. That's how we learn. So think of it like the English one, like
there
one.
is no one, the negation, and no one is
Mhm.
okay, and no one is, and this was this word
What do you make out of rech?
judging.
What do you make out of rech,
Rech.
though? Mhm.
Rech. It's abstract, so that doesn't really give me any information. Going,
Not
maybe
quite.
maybe it goes with the verb as like an auxiliary.
It does not. Well, it does actually. You're kind of right.
Like
Rech is
ear or something.
not quite. Rech is to know.
No.
It's
To
the
know, okay. All right. Thank you.
The thing is, to know how to do something in Egyptian is
Yeah.
to be able to do something, similar to what
So no
Chinese
one
is.
is able to judge. That's how you got that before. Okay.
You got that exactly.
Okay.
No
So
one is
it's sort
able
of
to
like
judge.
not a subordinate clause, like indirect speech, sort of like no
You made your
able,
yeah. You mean
sort
like
of.
you mean like a medial passive? Yes, that's right.
Yeah, kind of like media passive. Yeah. No.
That's right.
Okay. So no one is able to judge
And
us.
correct.
Right. That's
Perfect.
plural. Okay. And then no one is able, and there is not let's see, then di deet, and there is not any something there, I forget what deet is, and then of his justice or his mot. Oh no, that's not mot, that's sight. No, it is mot because that's a shoe. I'm sorry.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's okay. So, and there is no justice for him. There is.
Have to stay closer to the original grammar.
Yeah.
Now,
Look at all the suffix pronouns.
right.
Try and make all those fit into the meaning.
Yeah. And I'm forgetting what deet is. That's the problem. And not and not something is his ma'at. And his justice is not for me.
No.
Again, I'm just like, I'm not sure what deet is. That's the problem.
No
Sorry.
worries. I'll help out because this one is something we haven't covered yet. So
Okay.
this is wait.
He is to me, for me.
With respect to me in this case, I think it's a comparison.
Okay.
That is correct.
Thank you.
So let's bring this thing in. Bear with me. We're on chapter 17 in Ramses, and this is chapter 18. So
he is not more just than me.
That's almost what it is.
Almost.
You're
I
getting
knew what
close.
that adjective was. Yeah.
So here we go. Oops, let me make this smaller. I don't know how to make this go away, but you hopefully excuse me on this. So expression not yet. Basically,
there's a deet.
That's it. It's really something highly specific. So
not yet. Oh.
You have to have seen it. It's the Busejemit form, which is basically something has not yet happened yet. Coptic also has a special form for that. So the key things is it has a bu there. I'll come back to that in a moment, and it has that characteristic double reed leaf T ending. And it's only used with a few verbs. And here's a good example. Herbudit, nai or ni, peret, blah, 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 blah. And no rations have been given to me yet. Now, there is a bugbear here, which you'll see in a moment, which is it doesn't say bu. It says
Ben.
It says Ben. Yeah.
It says Ben, which
Yeah.
is a little bit annoying because for this to work, it should really say boo. If we assume the scribe made a mistake here, because there's a lot of Bens going here in sequence, and he maybe just made a typo, question mark. It's also a question of how were these pronounced. Boo was definitely pronounced something like already, like in Coptic today. So
It was kind of nasalized, sort of.
correct. So
Maybe. Okay.
the magic question is bun really a bun or is it an n? If it is an n, I could see how somebody got it wrong. But in any case, if you take it as a boo, as all the commentators do, it would become boo dt. It has not yet been given ma'af erai.
For him to be more just than me.
Correct. It has not been given that he is more just than me. Remember, they've been struggling for 80 years in court. Nobody can judge us, and it has not been given that he is more just than me.
Okay.
Ger, ga, en sop, erpai.
Okay. And it is something about it is not, no, sorry, her, ha. Sep or soap is time, and then erpai is for this. So, or than this. Maybe not. Pi is normally this.
Yeah.
You're close. You're very close.
Yeah. Erica. And there is not any time for this, and there is.
What does ha mean?
I'm forgetting. I'm sorry.
It means 1,000.
Okay, and there are 1,000 times for this.
Until this.
There are 1,000 more times than this.
You could think. I think it's really just like and 1,000 times until erpai, until now.
Until now. Okay.
That's how I would take it. Just like the ertai that we had up here. 80 years ertai. So basically 80 years until this year. And in this case, Cha and Sop erpai, erpai Sop until this time. So 1,000 times until this time. So in other words, until now, like basically they've not been able to judge us. It has not been given that he is more just than me.
1,000 times until now.
Like 1,000 times until now, exactly. And then it goes on. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Not an easy sentence. So
thanks for your help, guys. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Very cool. Looking at my clock, we have 6 more minutes. Should we try to get a little bit further?
Yes.
All right.
Or we could look at the hieratic.
Also fair.
Although that'll be quick.
We gotta be quick. I'll do the hieratic then real quick. So her, ben, 2, 2. I think that is familiar now. You see how the T is broken up into really the first
Sorry,
stroke
could you
and then
zoom in a little bit?
Oh, of course. Here we go.
Thank you.
So her, ben, 2, 2, rech. And then the Y1 you just have to know. This is, by the way, a stative. No, is that a stative?
I was going to ask, are you adding the her here, or do you just go with stative?
This one here, right?
Because it's first present and the same as before.
Yeah, the only annoying thing is that for rech works differently from all the other verbs because it means something like to get to know. And if you use it in the if you're using it in the present sense of like, I don't know, you're actually using some kind of past tense form. I'm pretty sure that is a stative here, actually. So this is not including a third. Let me make sure that I'm not alone in that opinion.
But I think translating it to Semitic language would be always put as a stative. If it wasn't for if a head wasn't there, you know.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
I mean, see, you said it's supposed to be head in the first example, you said it's written here in the Ramses online, but I think it's more like always a stative when you translate it to a Semitic language. It is always a stative if there is no her involved. So do you understand where I'm going there?
Maybe. I'm thrown off by the Semitic language part, to be honest. Why?
And that's why I find it weird why we wouldn't translate it to stative, even though he puts her in multiple examples. So
you're saying if you translated this into Arabic, it would be natural to use the stative?
yeah.
So that seems closer to you?
I mean, that's something I obviously, not knowing Arabic, can't comment on. I mean, the tricky thing about so let me put it this way. Let's see if that helps. The subject plus her plus infinitive is kind of tenseless. It basically goes with if it is in a narration, we call it the first present, but if it were with a you in front in a narration, it becomes a past tense in English. Something happened, then something happened, then something happened.
Yeah, and first present can be turned to past,
Exactly. Right, exactly. Now the stative, if you use the stative instead of the infinitive, it can have two meanings. It can be, again, especially for verbs of motion, it can be a past tense, like su'ak, he entered. The aku is a stative in this case. It could also be like a perfect in English, like a state has been achieved. He had entered, and now he's in the house, basically. So that's a distinction that Egyptian doesn't need to make, but in English we have to make it just because the language works that way. But it's really not saying anything about Egyptian. It says something more about English in this case. That's why I'm trying to, in my mind, think, how would that work in Arabic or Hebrew? I don't know enough. But so in this case, the rech, but you often find, like, if it weren't tutu, but if it were I, it would say rech kui here. So that's me from the future here. In this section, I'm making a strong case for the rech being a stative. Because normally when you say, for example, he knows, you would do su plus rech or rechu, the stative of to know, to indicate that you know something, a noun, an object. But now the interesting thing is when it actually comes to knowing how to do something, so rech followed by an infinitive, it actually seems to be an infinitive itself. So it really would be su, cher, rech, and then whatever comes after. That's something I only learned after the session. And there's one interesting example sentence where you can actually see the cher, and it's clearly not a stative in this construction. Now that's something we'll be discussing in an upcoming Ramses language of Ramses lesson. I keep it in here, but as you listen, just remember that, yep, mistake. Indeed, this here is an infinitive rech and not the stative that you would find if you know an object. Just because that verb is always used in the stative when it means
with the u, it could be just rechu and wija'u, something like that.
for the third person, yes, absolutely. Like su rechu, that's right. It's just they hardly ever write the u anymore in late Egyptian. It's really rare. But yeah, I think this here is equivalent to ben su rechu, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know ujan. He doesn't know how to judge us. Just that they say tutu here, so it's really tutu rechu, I think. I hope that helps a little bit. It's a special case for rech, which interestingly also, I always point that out, it happens in Latin too. You use the past for the present. And honestly, we do something similar in English. I think can is originally, it's a preterite form. That's why it is he can and not he can'ts. It doesn't take the T at the S at the end that you would expect for the third person singular. And there are a few Germanic verbs that are that way, that you use them in what is historically a past tense with present meaning. Can is that way. What else? try to think. I think must is that way, but I'm not completely sure. We'll have to look that up later. In any case, back to our Egyptian. Sorech, long W spelled out, Ujar basically. Ujar, this almost looks like a jet, but it isn't. It's a jar. Ujar. That thing here, whatever it really is. This we talked about a moment ago, how to spell Ujar. And then you sort of have to know. Kind of hard to. This is just a squiggle here, but it's plural strokes at the bottom and a double N on top. Gerben dai. It clearly has an aleph bird in there. So they're trying to indicate there's some kind of vowel here. That's what they're doing. Dai. This looks like plural strokes, but it is T and the Y1. It just makes more sense in context. Ma. Smudge glyph for whatever reason. The feather for Ma. And wow. Yeah, okay, no, that is a Y1. The Y1 can be written, the book roll can be written as something like an R with a dot on top. That's actually the more traditional way to write it. So it's dot and the book roll and then F. Eroi, or erai, I guess, at that point in time. So to me, or than me, more just than me. He has not been found to be more just than me. Gercha and sup for 1,000 times pi until this time. Okay, I'm talking about until this time. I guess that's where we'll continue next time with Yui, Ma, etc. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Guys, great job as always. Thanks so much. And I'll stitch the recording from this time and the one from last time together, so I have one big session and hope to publish that sometime over this, well, at least here in the US, long weekend. If you have Monday off, enjoy. If not, also enjoy. And see you all next week.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you. Have a good week.